Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. I don't do this very often, release a full analysis video on not one of our regular days, but there is so much going on right now, and our calendar is totally packed. And I just heard about a track that I cannot pass by. Dianne Van Giersbergen is a true operatic singer who is steeped in symphonic metal. And I've wanted to feature her music on this channel for a really long time. So today you get an extra video and I get to dive into the voice and journey of someone that I madly respect. Let's get to it. I'm sure y'all know. You're like, okay, yeah, of course Elizabeth is going to love this. This is just fundamentally classical music right now, right? I like the orchestration. Immediately we had some piano, solo string, bed of strings enter behind it as well. And then what I said earlier about Dianne being a true operatic voice, I mean that. And it is hard to actually find true operatic voices that are creating glorious music that is in a more contemporary medium. I see that crossover some in symphonic metal, and I think it's glorious. But a lot of times in more contemporary mediums, I'm seeing voices that are thinned. They're trained to be pulled forward and really trained away from this massive dome of resonance and just sheer power that doesn't need a microphone. I love voices of all types, but I have such a soft spot for actual opera voice. Dianne is legit opera. Okay, spinto soprano, if you want to talk about Fach, like that's like the subdivision of what kinds of operatic roles she will sing, or that she has worked on. She is just true opera, right? She's going to use more vibrato in her sound. Her sound is wider. There tends to be a ton of expressiveness, a lot more dome, just a rounder palette of expression as well. I'm going to go back to the beginning. It's pretty. It's so soft and beautifully orchestrated. So that beautiful roundness when she goes up, that's where I'm like, yeah. It's like opera juicy. It's like a different level of juicy in a voice. She starts it off really light. And I think a lot of times we have that lightness, especially within an opera singer voice, that helps bring in some more clarity to the sound, helps balance things out a little bit more. She's got a nice way of just entering gently, just good vocal technique, and then having that stretch up into juicy, juicy, juicy. It's also the vowel choices. You can tell she likes those round ones there. I love that too moment. She even takes out all the vibrato to give a little extra expression there. And the way she's phrasing down, there's this way to sing into a phrase as it's moving down where it continues to be given. This is something that Dio does extremely well. It's one of the reasons I say that opera singers can learn from Dio, but all singers can learn from Dio and opera singers, because the giving nature as you're descending a line, it is not something that is instinctual for 99% of people. Usually when you go back, there's sort of a falling back that will happen in the vocal tract, and the sound energy essentially will dissipate as you go down. And instead, as she's going down, I hear this attention to continuing the sound forward, to continuing to essentially give it a little extra lift. It's beautiful phrasing. That.
A symphonic tragedy breaks down on me, on the abyss of life.
That's gorgeous. I'm loving the build here. I want to just go back because when she goes down into her lows, she's navigating some registration shift just very, very, very well. Right. She's still in her upper voice here. It sounded like she just barely touched in lower there. A lot of times when a operatic soprano is singing down in this lower area, they'll start to lose some of the oomph. When we say a spinto, that means she has a dramatic edge, and often a spinto soprano will be able to bring a little more oomph essentially down into those areas. But if you're doing spinto soprano and that's your background and you've been singing with metal, that to me tells me the singer has learned how to bring a lot more into their lows that wasn't something that was in standard operatic repertoire, and I can hear that blend in her voice right here.
Tragedy breaks down on me, on the abyss of life.
Her voice loves legato. Beautiful regularity in her vibrato. Vibrato is such a difficult thing because everybody has different opinions too about how much vibrato they like or don't like. But one of the things that is across the board good is to have regularity in it. You don't want it to bounce at different times and then go boom, or bounce really big and then really small, things like that. Irregularity in vibrato we tend to not like. With hers, I hear a lot of control on it. I don't hear that it is too wide. I feel it is a very appropriate vibrato for an opera singer or for somebody that's working in symphonic metal. It's going to be a wider vibrato than what you would hear in a pop singer on the radio, but that's totally fine by me. I got no issues with that. And I think that it's important to mention that vibrato, when we've looked at it in research and we've studied the acoustic properties of it, we see that when vibrato enters into a voice, it actually increases resonance. It's really cool to see. Opera singers are all about tons of resonance too. So holding a voice totally straight, like, while that can maybe get the fundamental frequency, like the bottom of the resonance pretty well, getting that whole array of overtones isn't going to be achieved as well. So I love it when you see these comparisons of a person singing straight and then vibrato enters and it's like, yeah. That's the kind of resonance that an opera singer needs to get out over a big orchestra without a microphone. Back just a little bit. Good job with that decrescendo too. A lot of control.
In silence I live. My soft hand starts on my body's display. When I awake, swoons will you embrace me or leave me scorned? Through cares, trial and trials.
We got some metal coming on. That's exciting. A couple words about diction and clarity here. When she gets up into the top registers, it's always going to be harder for people to understand. Like, it doesn't matter who the singer is. Once you get up really high there, the vowel formants and the way that our ears perceive them, we just don't perceive in that pitch range as well. So when she's like up there and you're like, ooh, like the clarity of the lyrics is not as good as it is when it's down low. That's why it's like a thing about physics. It's not about how well she's doing. It's one of the things that's really frustrating about opera too. That no matter who you are, you can be the best opera singer in the world. If you're singing above the staff, like, it's just so hard to get the lyrics across. So opera singers have to work overtime to get more consonants out, to make bigger mouth shapes. And I see her doing that here. And then when it gets down into that lower sort of like where you would find more of the pop or even like the stronger metal range, then it tends to come out a little bit more clear, right? It's very, very interesting how that works. And the bane of many, many classical singers. So go back one more time. They're still pretty good though. Like pretty clear. I love that line, will you embrace me or leave me scorned? It says this song has a beautiful story behind it. It's essentially about this abdominal surgery that she had and knowing that this would affect her voice majorly. I think there was intubation involved. Of course, if you're cutting into the abdomen, there are all kinds of muscles in that area that are used to support singing. And when you're talking about an opera voice, that kind of surgery is like, you're not going to sing opera for a while after that. You need those lower support muscles to function. If you don't have that, it's just like, it's like the bottom of your entire instrument is just dropped out. You took the gas away from the car, essentially. It does not run. So having a surgery like that and coming back from it is really, really tough. I think people often don't know if they will ever fully recover from it. So I think that this line, will you embrace me or leave me scorned, is essentially talking about with the recovery, if it's possible. But at the same time, I love that she used this lyric because that is applicable to so many things in life. There's enough vagueness in the lyrics in this to take it and put it in different situations. But when you know that she's singing about this incredible relationship, this personal relationship that's been developed with her voice, seeing a singer, like understanding when they've developed a relationship like that with their voice and have their entire career built around it, it's amazing and beautiful. I can go on and all about that for a long time. We should get back to her though. Beautiful. It's beautiful. beautiful melody there. I like the way it's doubled as well, and in the octaves. This gets to one of the things that I am so excited about right now, like to the point where I'm making my own music in this area. I love it when we have this huge mass of sound that's symphony and metal. Symphonic metal is just like such a cool freaking genre, guys. I love this genre. I love the huge array of timbre that you have. I love how it goes to all of these different frequencies, but then sort of trembles in the different frequencies in different ways. So I don't know of any way to get a more massive sound. When you think about things like electronic music, where you're developing all of these synthesizers that can kind of cross over, it still is not the sheer force that I hear come into symphonic metal. And then with that kind of sound in the instruments, I want bold, powerful voices. I love combining opera and symphonic metal and adding in there that extra lower mid voice that I was talking about earlier. I think you have to have that. And I love that sound. Okay. I like the layers in the background. It starts to feel so epic. The layers are great. This sounds so operatic. This line, the way it starts really low, even the melody of it is familiar, but the way it starts really low and then jumps up higher and then higher and then higher. She has written an extremely rangy lead line here, and she's killing it too. Oh, I love it. Back further. I want to sing along. I like that line. I like this line a lot. I love the goosebumps on her arm there too. When I come back to that line, that has been for me the most glorious part of the song so far. It has been the most operatic. I love the huge range, and the way when we got to the top, it like repeated it again. I was like, yeah, I know my voice is ballsy and big, and it's amazing. I love that. Okay, and then along with that, the full sound of all these instruments is just so epic. I get excited though when I hear the shift that just happened too, because when you have that glorious long legato line that is just so epic, like where do you go to next? And I think the answer is you go to Carmina Burana. I love this about her writing, and lots of her other songs. I've heard these elements of like choral Carmina Burana where you're like pa 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 pa. This idea of pa 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 pa. What is that idea? It feels like chorus singing about impending doom while on horses of the Night King. There we go. That's it. That's it. So operatic. Was that Arjen that got in there with that little? There's some more rock that I heard coming through there. A little more metal, I should say. I know that this is featuring Arjen here, and I'm not sure if that was in the arranging or in guitar, but I liked that part, and I'm hoping to hear more of that kind of thing. Oh, this is such pretty orchestration.
I got a soul in the shadowed only, washed and reborn, my past life forlorn, afraid of what awaits. Abandon the night.
That's so interesting. That section, the way it pulls back there. I was writing with Dianne in some emails a while back, and she told me that she really loves Songs of the Moon, and that this way that it's so inward and sits a little lower in the voice too. That has so much seeking with this moment and tenderness. It definitely feels like she's using so many brilliant techniques from operatic composition. And she could write a whole symphonic opera at this point. It's really gorgeous. Let's go back a little more.
Who am I but a soul in the shadowed only,
It's beautiful.
washed and reborn, my past life forlorn, afraid of what awaits.
Everything about the way she sings talks or speaks classical training to me in all of the good ways. Things like "Who am I?", where she uses a little glottal attack to divide right before I and give an emphasis there. But all between these other consonants and vowels, we have so much legato. So she's very specific with the enunciation there. In the way she approaches the bottom, it is gentle and focused. There's a feeling of honey everywhere, like honey, 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 between all of the notes she's singing. I want to hear that one more time. It's so pretty.
Who am I
There's this
but
inner
a
smile the
soul
whole
in the
time.
shadowed,
It's like that operatic resonance that's a blend of chiaroscuro.
washed and reborn, my past life forlorn, afraid of what awaits. Abandon the night and
Like Verdi.
rise to deep without it.
Heck yeah.
Kindred soul, with the night and resolve, breathe
Heck yeah. We're gonna get some more Arjen, I think, right here, maybe. But right before, I just want to say that, like, singing this kind of drama, there's something so thrilling about the experience. It makes you feel so powerful. I love that. Also, check out her lips. Like, this kind of mouth shape is super, super common to see in classical operatic training, where you have this essentially rounding here. It lengthens the vocal tract, and that helps to add resonance that's a little bit deeper to the sound overall. Like that, there you go, opera mouth, yeah, for the win. This is my jam, y'all.
with the night
loved the delay there, and I just love the way that this brought the song again, like a new level of vibrancy. Such a good combination. Delightful. Other note, I believe the video was done by Blackbriar team, or that they were involved in helping out with it too. This is such a beautiful setting. I love the way every scene here is shot and the story it's telling. Good job. Congratulations. All that beautifully, beautifully done. Great doubling. Parallel octaves. Yes. I feel like we're like extending this final cadenza. I love the way we got this big chorus, which I think is all of her. Maybe there might have been a couple of people in there, but it sounded like just tons and tons of layers of her. That the harmonies were glorious. The full chorus sound was glorious. And then having the voice produced in the center with the lead also just being mega powerful. Loved it. Loved it. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, dang. Dang. This last note she does a decrescendo on. It is hard to control a decrescendo like that. That hairpin dynamics where you crescendo in and crescendo out, some of the hardest things to execute really, really well. And it's beautiful. She has so much control. And getting that control back after surgery is super impressive too. Just gotta say that. There was a big like brassy low sound in there. I'm not sure if it was just brass or if that was orchestration. Whatever it was, that little wah kind of sound that happened was very, very satisfying. There it is. This kind of composition is massive, and executing it well takes so much time and energy. Huge congratulations to Dianne and your team for doing a truly fantastic job. And if you all would like to see some more symphonic metal analyses, check out this playlist over here. May you fall more in love with music every day.